Podcasting from Singapore and broadcasting all around the world. You're listening to the Ignite EdTech Podcast with Craig Kemp, created by an educator for educators and streaming to the world. Now, over to your host, Craig Kemp.
Hello and welcome to episode 75 of the Ignite EdTech Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Kemp, and I'm thrilled to have your support. As most of you know, I continue to work with the incredibly talented Mark Quinn to improve the final audio quality of this podcast. He has his own podcast production studio that provides editing and mastering services to content creators. To connect with Mark, please see the details in the podcast notes below. This is the second to last episode for 2021, and it's been a fantastic journey before we take a break and come back later in January. Enjoy! Last week, I asked you about the features you wish your learning management system had that it doesn't. Check out the social streams for more. Some of the things that you told me about via social and directly into us via our channels were built-in professional learning, appraisal systems, an HR system that integrated into your learning management system, in-depth data analysis and graphing, better parent communication, and self-marking assessments that are not just multi-choice. This week, I wanted to ask about what creation-based tools you use to increase creativity among learners in your class or school. I love seeing new tools and exploring how they work in different contexts. Please share with me via our Ignite EdTech social streams. I look forward to hearing your responses soon. A tool that has positively impacted the authentic and purposeful use of technology into classrooms and meeting rooms that I have worked in is Creaza. Creaza is a digital learning tool that enables students to work with different subjects and topics by creating mind maps, presentations, comic strips, movies, and audio productions. Creaza enables you to easily create amazing cartoons, videos, podcasts, mind maps, and presentations, all in their web-based platform. Creaza has 3 elements and tools: Cartoonist, Mindomo, and Audio Editor. Cartoonist enables you to easily create amazing cartoons, videos, digital stories with backgrounds, characters, props, text, images, video clips, narration, and music. You can combine Cartoonist's built-in content with your own uploaded files and recorded audio. The second element is Mindomo. It lets you create mind maps and presentations with text, links, images, videos, and audio. You can combine content from the web with Mindomo's built-in library and your own uploaded files. It's also possible to collaborate in real time, which is a feature that I particularly love. The third feature is Audio Editor. It allows you to create exciting podcasts and audio mixes. The tool contains hundreds of audio clips, music, as well as sound effects. These can be combined with audio recordings and your own uploaded audio files. I've started exploring this, and I think it could be a really exciting place to pique the interest of young learners in the world of podcasts. I actually like the idea of embedding this into inquiry-based or project-based learning experiences as a tool to demonstrate and show learning. There are just so many possibilities. In addition, Creaza also contains hundreds of ready-made activities related to different subjects and topics. Teachers can easily assign activities to their students, follow their work, comment, and give feedback along the way. It's a great way to embed assessment tasks in a creation-based classroom. While there's an opportunity to try before you buy, it's hardly going to break the bank at only $300 per classroom per year, making it about $10 to $15 per student per year, or $1 per student per month. I highly recommend that you take a look at Creaza.com. The link is in the description below. Last week, we talked about learning management systems. If you're interested in learning more, go back and listen to last week's episode. This week, I wanted to talk about creation-based tools and how to encourage creativity over consumption using technology in our classrooms. I often talk about the power of creation over consumption in the work that I do with schools, but we often forget to talk about the impact that creation has on our young learners, and for that matter, on ourselves as adult learners. Technology allows us the unique opportunity to create and make, and of course, push boundaries. It allows us the chance to do things that were previously inconceivable in the learning process. When we look at the SAMR model by Ruben Putindera, we think about the M and the R and how we can modify and redefine the learning experience by using a tech tool to change that experience to be something more than what it was before. For me, the tech tools that allow this are the ones I want to see used in classrooms, ones that have distinguishable whys. Why are you doing this? If you can justify that with learners in your classroom, use it. And today, I wanted to share my favorite 5 tech tools that encourage modification and redefinition and creativity in the classroom. They're easy to justify, and as always, I'd love to hear your favorites too. My top 5 creation tools that allow us to redefine the experience for learners are: number 1, Flipgrid. If students could use a little more FaceTime, Flipgrid is an excellent way to bring it into your classroom, virtually or anyway. It's a secure platform that allows students and teachers to record video responses, discussions, presentations, performances, and any other video content. It allows them to make, create, and share at the touch of a button and provides rich data insights and engagement tools. Best of all, it's free. Number 2, Nearpod. Nearpod is one of my favorites. It's an online tool that allows teachers to use slide-based teaching both in the classroom and remotely thanks to a hybrid layout. Teachers can create lots of different interactive learning resources that allow students to engage and learn via their device or a single screen in the room. I love that it allows teachers to create and model this process, and by using Nearpod lessons with your class, it provides the opportunity to give instant and immediate feedback to your learners. I love using Nearpod with student learners and with adult learners frequently as well. Number 3, Storybird. Kids preschool age and up can use Storybird to bring their amazing stories and other creative writing to life. From picture books and comics to poetry and novels, Storybird allows students' voices to shine and be shared. I've seen learners of all ages make and create in Storybird, and it's always inspiring to see their creations. I highly recommend you check it out. Number 4, Seesaw. Seesaw is a tool that I've used for many years in many schools that I've worked in as a way of engaging students in the learning process and sharing learning to their families. Seesaw is a platform for student engagement. Teachers can empower students to create, reflect, share, and collaborate. Students show what they know using photos, videos, drawing, text, PDFs, links, and so much more. It's simple to get student work in one place and share with families, and nothing is shared without teacher approval. Redefinition is possible in Seesaw, and best yet, it's super simple to use. And number 5, Whiteboard.chat. Whiteboard.chat is a free digital whiteboard that allows you to create, share, collaborate, and monitor your students' learning experience. Being free, the company listens, and they work so hard to bring new features that educators want and need. They are truly redefining the learning experience in this space and providing ways for educators to become the creators of learning experiences that redefine learning. Students can demonstrate their understanding and share their constructions through many different creative mediums. It's worthwhile exploring and trying it, no matter what age learners you work with. I'm always curious to hear what tools you use in your classroom that modify and redefine the learning experience and provide the opportunity for learners to create. I'd love to hear from you. Please reach out with your ideas and thoughts. Every week, I bring you a short interview with some of my edu heroes. An engaging learning experience with someone who makes a difference in education every day, with a particular focus or angle towards educational technology. This week, I had the pleasure of chatting with Summer Howarth. Let's have a listen to the chat. Today, I have the honor of speaking with Summer Howarth, who you may know as @EduSum on Twitter, with over 15,000 followers. Summer is a learner experience designer and a self-proclaimed boss of Eventful Learning based in Australia and supporting schools in their learning journeys. Summer and I have been connected for many years now, and I'm constantly inspired by her positivity and the learning experiences she creates and leads in schools globally. Summer, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Are you ready to talk about education and technology integration?
Oh, I sure am, Craig. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Let's go. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your current role and what inspires you to do what you do?
Sure. So currently, as you said, boss of the Eventful Learning Company, and we design great learning, essentially, and that's in strategy, events, experiences, content. So it's kind of, a bit of a jack of all trades at the moment. And what inspires me right now to do what I'm doing is seeing people come alive when they're able to kind of get back together for different experiences and even trying things online to collaborate. It's just really fun to see ideas pushed forward and put into action. I think just clever people getting together. It's always inspiring, but it's inspiring right now when it's been a really long few years.
Totally. And, chatting before we hit record on this, one of the things that struck me was, every time I chat to you, the positivity runs through. It really does inspire me to hear the things that you're doing. And I know that you have that impact with people face to face as well. And when we were planning to chat on this interview, one of the things you said to me was that you are not an EdTech guru. And that I loved that, and I loved hearing that. And you've told me that. And it's one of the reasons why I think it's important to have your voice in here as well. What's your best advice, Summer, for educators from your perspective when it comes to the use of EdTech in their classrooms?
Great question. And yes, I had ducked and done a little weave around your podcast for such a long time, thinking, no, EdTech is not my jam. And I guess 2020 said EdTech better get to be your jam pretty quickly. And I've actually always been a first adopter, which I was really reflecting on this. And I think in terms of that, my best advice is actually give it a go. Trust the tech in a lot of ways and get your own favorite suite of tools. There's so much out there that I've really carefully curated a particular tool for a particular use, and it's only on rare occasions that I'll probably explore, other tools for other uses as well. So that would probably be my best advice on that. Just get into it, but curate your own ed tech, whether that be hardware, software, apps, platforms, whatever that might be.
I think it's great advice, Summer. It really is. And, we've talked a little bit about your role, the work that you do, but what's your next big goal in your career? What do you want to do or achieve that you haven't been able to do yet?
Craig, I think right now it's a zero inbox. Have not been able to achieve that for a while, just with the pace of remote work and COVID. But look, I think honestly, the next big goal would be to get a bit more involved in some regional or international policy. Been really involved in that at particularly a state and territory level, and that filters into what happens at those sort of national roundtables. But I'm very interested on a more global scale, what's kind of happening, particularly with now we've really got some of that traction around universal primary education. What does a universal secondary education look like? And in that, what does a student voice, choice and agency piece look like? We've seen some real success in that here in Australia. And so I think I never would have thought, but definitely it's policy at a next sort of scale for me.
That's really cool to hear too. And I think that would be an incredibly powerful next step to take your voice to the world too. And you touched earlier on, Summer, about the work that you do with Eventful Learning. Tell us a little bit more about your company now and the work that you do with schools and organisations.
Yeah, it's an interesting one in terms of kind of the schools and organisations and then systems. So I've got just a handful of schools that I do some great work with. I'm really lucky to be working really closely alongside Canva Girls Grammar School for quite a few years, and we as sort of a strategic assistant in that space. I work alongside organisations like the Prince's Trust to deliver, design, facilitate some of their events and content. And there's other organisations, that work to support schools and students and teachers in what they do. And then there's the system level stuff. So if I can point to something I'm working on right now, actually doing this podcast kind of in between texts and things of reorganizing and redesigning, reshifting, in with the Northern Territory. So that's where I'm working at that territory-wide or that statewide or jurisdiction-wide level. We're working on projects like the Northern Territory Learning Commission. We've been the design and project partner and facilitation and delivery partner for a few years, and that continues to grow and scale. So we manage that project for and with the department. We then make, some of those recommendations. Where does this fit in with system level narratives and really work closely with general managers and chief executives and therefore the minister. And so that's happening in a few states and territories as well. So Eventful Learning, I guess, has become known for facilitating great experiences, but also how we can sort of tie in and I guess broker some of the outputs of that into a bit more of a policy side of things. I think that's where we're really growing into, which is really exciting.
It is really exciting. And I think that, the work that I see you, and I see a lot of this being, portrayed in social media and the sharing that goes out there and the energy that comes through, even your Twitter presence, Summer, is really exciting. I can only imagine what that's like in person as well. And I've been lucky enough to do some work at Camberwell Girls Grammar as well. And every single person that I come into touch with that talks about the work that you do, I've seen that in action, and it's super positive to see. It's super positive to hear about it, but also to know that there's that transformation of learning that's happening, because a lot of the professional learning that happens nowadays misses and skips that transformation piece. And I've seen you in that work.
Yeah, it's transactional, right?
Absolutely. And it's exciting to see that work change and adapt. So congratulations for the work that you've done and continue to do as well.
Thank you.
That leads me into the transformational piece, and something that we're trying to do at EduSpark.World as well. And you're a course creator at EduSpark. I'd love for you to share a little bit about the course that you have up at EduSpark.World and what people would gain from learning with you in that space.
Yeah, look, it's probably less of a linear course and more about my best tips and tricks for pulling great things out of teams. Often we get blocked for all sorts of different reasons, and I've been working in this sort of strategy development, creative space for a while. So what I created is a set of videos. They're very much sort of a how-to. It walks you through the why, it walks you through the how, it walks you through the what, so that you're able to take some of Eventful's tips, tricks, and tools that we've developed alongside different clients and organizations that we've picked up along the way from different organizations, that are just big sort of generic tools that people tend to use. But I created a whole set of how-to videos. So I really hope that people gain confidence in their own skills to facilitate conversations with their own team. I hope that people are able to build up their, their own toolkit in how they might utilize this even with students. All of those tools work really, really well with students as well. So I hope that they learn a little bit more about what it is that we do as well.
Absolutely. Let's jump into some quick fire questions, Summer. The first thing that comes to your head, and a brief why. Let's see how you go.
Okay.
What's been your #1 word for 2021?
Certainty, because there was a distinct lack of it, and it became a bit of a mantra of mine. How might we design certainty into whatever we were doing that particular day? So certainty is my one word.
Really, really thoughtful. And I'm curious, have you thought about what your next year's one word might be? What is your focus for 2022? Or are you just, playing each day as it comes?
Yeah, I would probably say sustainability for 2022 in a whole range of ways. I think that as the world opens up, there's probably the fear of the snapback that, we can get on a plane, we can use 1,000 Post-its, we can, run our energies into the ground, all of that kind of thing. And I think sustainability will be an interesting one in the work we do, how we do the work, and the kind of impact that we're having, on outcomes, but also the planet.
I love it. Very thoughtful. What's your favorite EdTech book or resource?
At the moment, I think my favorite EdTech resource is Miro. I absolutely love Miro. Chris Hart introduced it to me early on, and it's not necessarily an EdTech tool, but my goodness, I've done so much of education work with this tool, like a big online whiteboard, very easy for users to get across quite quickly. So I think that would definitely be my favorite resource. And in terms of a book, I always love, thinking about the third teacher. I think it's a great one.
Nice. And what's your go-to EdTech tool that the listeners need to try?
I actually really love Canva as well. And I know that there's so many, particularly primary school teachers, that are creating some really great room resources on Canva, but it's a big time efficiency. And that's what I love about it as an EdTech tool. Teachers, leaders, anyone working in education, if we can give them back more time, I would definitely say invest time up front in Canva and it will pay dividends down the track.
Yeah, fantastic call out. What's one daily habit or practice that helps you enjoy, progress, and succeed in your career, Summer?
Look, I'm going to be upfront and say I don't know that it happens daily, but I will say frequently. And it's always to kind of stop and have a look at what all the different people I'm working with are doing and find a way to kind of share that across any kind of platform or share that story with somebody else. So I think what helps me to progress and succeed, and always has, is being a little bit of a voice or a Lorax for the great work that is often trapped on site in schools or in organizations. So to really find ways to distill and share the great practices of people I work with is certainly a habit, frequent habit, yeah.
And what's your favorite education-focused quote?
Oh, it's got to be Rita Pearson. Teaching and learning should bring joy.
Nice. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Very cool to hear. Summer, you've given us so many nuggets of wisdom, exciting takeaways, things that people are going to love to learn and listen from you here with. What's the best way for listeners to follow and connect with you?
Look, I think I spend a lot of time on Twitter. It's a mixed bag, everything between what my neighbour's dog is doing and what the OECD are thinking about girls' education in the future. So, it's very much a tapestry of me. So I think EduSum. The other would probably be Eventful Learning on Instagram. We put up a lot of the different work that is coming out of different organizations. So that's a really nice sort of visual representation of what we're doing as well. So Eventful Learning on Instagram, you can look us up, and EduSum on Twitter.
Awesome. We'll make sure all of the links and things that you've shared today are in the podcast notes as well, Summer. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy a well-deserved break coming up, and I look forward to continue to follow and connect with you as well.
Thanks. Keep doing the awesome things you're doing.
Next week, join me for episode 76 of the Ignite EdTech Podcast, when I'm joined by the brilliant Tonya Gilchrist. One of the things I love doing is giving away prizes as a thank you for tuning in, listening, and hopefully following the Ignite EdTech Podcast. Last week, I gave away a seat in the EduSpark professional learning platform. To win, you needed to complete the form at bit.ly/edtechwin. The winner has already been contacted directly by me, and it is Sarah Thompson. Congratulations, Sarah. This week, I'm giving away another seat in the EduSpark professional learning platform for 1 year of unlimited learning at EduSpark.World. To win this prize, you need to go to bit.ly/edtechwin and complete the simple form. It'll take you less than a minute to do. The link is in the description below. Competition closes on Wednesday the 8th of December, and the winner will be contacted directly by me and announced on next Friday's podcast episode. Good luck! Remember, next week is our last episode of 2021, and we're going to close it out in style. I hope to see you back then. If you enjoyed today's episode, please smash that follow button and share it with your colleagues, friends, and families. Please remember to spend 2 minutes to rate this podcast too, so we can reach even more people and EdTech enthusiasts globally. Please share your favorite part of today's episode by tagging us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, and don't hesitate to ask me questions that I can answer in an upcoming episode. Remember, you have the chance to win as well. Check out the links in the description for more, and I'll see you again next week.
If you liked today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another episode. And be in the drawing to win prizes every week. If you know others that would enjoy the show, please hit that share button and brighten their day. Join us again next week for your weekly EdTech hit with @Mr. Kemp NZ. We'll see you again soon.